Is it normally is it normally getting to something that's happened in the past and unblocking that and releasing it, or is it more recent than that? Or
so it's really interesting. This has been my obsession, getting to the root, right? And there's a lot we could talk for hours about all of it.
We do.
But essentially, yes, a lot of this stuff comes from the early developmental stages. It can start in the womb, like how your mother was when she was pregnant with you, all the way up, particularly those 0 to 7 years are very influential. But also a lot of money blocks in particular I found can do with your inner teenager years. So things that happen as a teenager. So sometimes things come up about people being bullied at school, or things around, their sexuality, or there's so many things that come up that block us. And then, of course, there can be trauma that happens later in life as well, that can impact. But even more, even interesting as well, if you go down through the ancestral line through our DNA, there are things that are running us that we actually haven't experienced in this life. So I used to see this psychically. My guidance used to show me that there were what you could call past lives, which some people believe in, but not everyone believes in past lives. I have seen them, but what's interesting to keep it in a very grounded way is look at your ancestral history that's in your DNA. And actually there's things that happen to your ancestors that still live inside of your body. So I call this ancestral trauma. And so part of this work, the wealth work I do, is about healing trauma from the past. And there's a lot of pain in our ancestral history and our Earth's history. So my big mission is actually, how do we transform the pain of the past in order to create a more thriving, abundant future? But the only thing with this is you can spend, and I spent, years and years and years kind of geeking out on all this stuff, trying to understand like an energy detective. But actually, to create the results moving forward, you don't have to know everything that happened to you and why it happened to you. And because what happened to me a little bit is I went down a lot of rabbit holes that actually kept me stuck still in the past. So there's a danger a little bit of getting just sucked into the past and not being able to move forward, which is what I did. But that was also a really important part of my learning and growth and evolution and understanding. My passion now is, yes, we can acknowledge traumas that happened in the past. Everyone has trauma, big T, little t. And it's important to acknowledge history and honor history to heal. There's a really important piece, which is what therapy is really good for. There's a really important piece about honoring and acknowledging history in order to heal and move forward. But also what I've learned the hard way is not everyone's willing to honor or acknowledge history. And so if you're waiting for someone to apologize to you or someone to acknowledge what happened, it can leave you really stuck and devastated.
And keep that resentment in your body.
And keep you locked in. So I had to learn how to do, and I, again, learn all this the hard way, is understand that a lot of human beings aren't willing to honor and acknowledge history. And so you have to be willing to honor and acknowledge it for yourself and move forward despite what friends, family, culture, society is saying. This has been a very painful learning curve for me, that you need to also be willing to kind of fight for your future. As well as heal your past. So you're alchemizing the past through the power of the present in order to create more wealth into your future.
And when we're talking about wealth, what kind of results do you get then, Lara?
Well, great results. What's really interesting, obviously, is people come in because they want to make more money or grow their business, be more successful, right? But what my clients end up saying is, you know what, Lara, I do have more money and I'm making more money and I've grown my business, but that's the symptom, is the cherry on top. What I've really got is something that's so much more valuable than that. But it's one of these things that they don't really get until they come into the work, which is about clearing your blocks to owning your value and owning your power to create and what is wealth for you. So money in the bank is one way to measure wealth, but it's not the only way to measure. For me, wealth is about your spiritual wealth, how you're feeling as a human being, the wealth of your relationships, the wealth of your health, the wealth of your home, the wealth in your work or business. So wealth, I have 6 core wealth pillars I work with, and money and finance is one of them. Business or work is another one of them. But I'm very greedy. and I want you to have it all, which is about understanding you can have money in one area. So I grew up quite wealthy, and I grew up around people who had a lot of money. But for me, it was very void of any heart and soul. So I felt alone. I felt unloved. I felt unsafe.
Yeah, because this is true though, isn't it? Because you hear of like, these entrepreneurs and who've got millions, but they're still very, very lonely inside and unfulfilled. Where you would like, I think people think that, having money is going to be like the fixer of everything. But internally, if you're still unfulfilled, it's just masking over, isn't it?
Exactly. And because I knew that when I woke up spiritually, I was like, screw the material world. Like, it's not about money. It's not about things. I didn't care about, and I still don't care that much about things like brands and all of that. But it turns out you also need money. Because I rejected money, I rejected the material world. I pendulum swung from wealth with no heart and soul to like an abundance of soul and spirituality with no money. And neither of them are good. So my path now is a journey I call integrated wealth, where we have it all. You have wealth, financial wealth, and you have spiritual wealth, and you have the wealth of health and wealth of relationships. So for me, having deep, rich, authentic connection in every of the wealth pillars is what's important to me. So it's more quality over quantity. And that I have chosen, I've learned to manifest from a lot of failure and a lot of trying or thinking. We think we want something until you get it. And then you know that thing, be careful what you wish for. Because actually you can manifest anything.
Yeah.
And I always encourage people to have money. I think you're much more powerful with money than without it. And if you want to make an impact, you want to make a difference, you need money for sure. But if you think that money is going to bring you the answer to all your problems, that you're going to be disappointed. But I would say it's like money and. So we project externally. We're seeking all the time externally.
Yeah.
For answers, for things, for a feeling, really.
Yeah.
And money, I coach a lot of very successful, wealthy people that are still in a lot of survival and scarcity. And even with the facts of their financial reality, that those inner demons don't go away.